open sharing of information about the results continuously and permanent evaluation of each steps, because I never seen any document, position papers on the development during the project from the sector associations or the members of sector. There was a lot of examples here given that the sector agrees, the sector would like to have something, but where are the answers or questions given to the sector and approved by the sector during the process? I never seen that. So it's a mistake from my point of view. We need to stop this type of information exchange and start a new one, really open, really transparent, and that we can reach the timelines, the deadlines, which are very ambitious, but without the unanimously approval of the sector, and not only the biggest players. And one remark at the end. There was mentioned the specifications. And as I know since the beginning of previous Shift to Rail and now Europe's Rail, there is not any product at the end. And we heard the Scharfenberg specifications. It's wrong from my point of view. The specifications need to be anonymous. So specifications are open for everybody who would like then to produce the final product. That's all. Thank you for understanding, and apologize for being long.
Thanks, Borislav. I mean, to make two things clear on this. Firstly, and I mean, I think you saw it in some of the slides, but I'll recap again. This process we are trying to make extremely inclusive. We have the actual DAC delivery program with, I can't remember, you've got several, with more than 80 members from across the European rail freight community. And then at the level of the final supervisory board for the project, we have all of the European representative associations involved. So they are all seeing what's coming out of the project, and we discuss it at length in the program board and the supervisory board, and the end results are approved at that level. So I mean, we hope getting buy-in from all of the sector, because we have to get that buy-in, otherwise this process won't work. On the Scharfenberg coupler, I mean, the Scharfenberg coupler is a name, and I mean, clearly we're talking about a coupling. We can't have everybody choosing their own type of coupling. There does have to be a single coupling that couples with all the other similar couplings. But one of the criteria in choosing that coupling was that it should be IPR free, so that it can be manufactured by everybody, and that is what we think we've achieved with Scharfenberg at the moment. You want to add something?
Yeah, only supporting what KF already said, because the Scharfenberg, maybe we should call it also type 10 design, because this is already standardized. So for instance, for passenger transport, there is already standard available, and the aim is to extend this standard to make it open for everybody. So nobody would like to have here a closed shop, because interoperability, that this will be supported by a number of suppliers, is key. Nobody can do it alone. It's absolutely clear. On the other side, I would say, and you have seen the structure of the EDDP, the European Duct Delivery Program. This is really an open program. So I would say it has to go both ways. It also needs, let's say, active participation from the sector, from the organizations to be in there, because we would welcome there everybody. Everybody is really welcomed to support, to contribute, to bring in experience, because we are living from that. And I fully agree, but it is something what goes both ways. So on one side, the shop is, as I said, not closed. It's already open, and EDDP is also already mentioned, will continue. And everybody from the sector, and maybe even outside, is invited to join, to bring in ideas, but also raise concerns and help us to make things better and address the issues and the weaknesses early up front.
Thank you. And what I also would like to add on the outreach of the program and the involvement of partners is that the joint undertaking is also taking care that we have a regular exchange with the member state level, so that we are also covering this better, because it's not completely fully possible in the governance itself of the program, where we have the companies in the program board and the associations in the supervisory board. Secondly, on a workers level, we are also having an intense dialogue with the unions, because this is also something at the beginning of the start of the project, that the involvement from the workers' side and like having a dialogue and listening to the concerns from worker safety side straight from the beginning and working in an inclusive way can just be a win-win situation for all of us. This is working very well, especially also we are pushing for this on an Austrian level, but this is something we can do for ÖBB, for example. And I think I also wanted to mention something on the technology, because yes, you have pointed out that this case shouldn't be repeated. And I think here in the program we are also very much aware about that we shouldn't act too fast, because we cannot force anybody to an obligation of the deployment, the introduction and mandatoriness on a legal level. For example, one tool could be the TSI. No, we haven't done this so far, because actually, and I hope I was able to communicate this in the indicative time plan, we know that there are still open topics to close, for example on the specifications, and from this point out we really would like to run through a proper phase of testing and demonstration that would allow us to put something, let's say, in stone on a regulatory and legal framework. So I think all of the participants in the program, they know the stories of the past and what went wrong, and there is a fully awareness on this.
Yes, I may complement something. First of all, thank you very much for your question. Having said so, just to complement what you're saying, the standardization part is open. It is mainly driven by the European Railway Agency. We have been working openly and transparently for 2 years on the development of the TSI wagon, with regular meetings every 2-3 months, chaired by European Railway Agency, completely transparent, and all the sector has been represented there, and they had their voice and they had their chance to give their opinion. Even trade unions were present in this TSI revision, and that's an aspect. And of course, because once it gets into the formalization of this TSI, it gets into, it gets approved. All the sector is heard, all the voices are taken into account, and a very balanced assessment is taken. So take for granted that that's going to happen, and is happening. Another point, important one, we have been actively involved with Sensenelec, which is also a very important lighthouse for this standardization. And again, it's an open forum. So we have been working actively, especially with the mechanical and pneumatical part in working group 35. And I agree with you, and I can agree with you, Miroslav, in one thing. This is very complex. So this is very complex, and it's very difficult to get a very comprehensive view with all the different places you need to be working at. But take for granted that we are taking stock of things of the past. We think we have some lessons learned, and we are very cautious about what you are saying, and we are trying to put all the means. But nevertheless, it looks like we can improve, and we take on board your comment, and we'll reflect about it.
Thank you.